Hi, everyone. Welcome to my free business mastermind. We are going to talk about mindset today. We're going to talk about passion in your niche. We're going to talk about a strategy plan. I want this to be more of a collaboration. So if you have any questions as I'm going through this process of giving you tips and tricks of what you need to do to get your business off the ground, I want you to use the chat box, and we're going to use a business mastermind as really collaborating and getting you some answers today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a whiteboard, and instead of having this pretty presentation of a one of those PowerPoints, we're going to just get down to the nitty gritty and kind of just work with each other of here's what you need to really take down notes. So if you're not taking notes and you want to take notes, it's a good time to take notes now. So let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to get to which one I am presenting. This. Okay. Okay, so here's the 4 steps that I really want to work on today. Step 1 is creating your passion into profit and your niche market. Um, the other one is step 2 is strategy plan, setting achievable goals with intention, marketing, and pricing. Step 3 is your mindset, your belief system, your money mindset, which is super important because 90% of your business will be your mindset. And then step 4 is how do we have time management? How do we get back time? And in the people that have registered, we had services, we have beauty products, we had goods and products, and we have newbies. So as people start joining, I'm going to touch a little base on everything so people will get information about their niche. So I'm just going to start out here, and we're going to just have these ideas, and I'm going to give you these ideas of what you need to do to really work on these specific things. So when you're building a business, the first thing that you want to do is to get all the ideas out of your head. So how do you do that? Get a piece of paper, get a pen, and start writing your ideas down. There's too many business owners out there that have a lot of ideas in their head. And what happens is becomes a chaotic mindset. And all you're doing is spinning your wheels about what do I need to do? How do I need to create this business? What about the money? There's a lot of chaos that goes on when you're just internalizing everything. So once you start writing things down on paper, what you're going to notice is that you're going to have more space for creative ideas. You're also going to have more time for yourself because you're not thinking and overthinking and feeling overwhelmed. So the first thing we want to do when we're creating our niche market is we want to know our why. So what is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you passionate about creating this business? You have to know your why because it's not about the money. You're not chasing money. We're doing a service where the reward becomes the money. So you need to know what your why is. Then you need to know, what do you want to create? So as you know your why of why I want to, so for example, and a little background about myself, I started my coaching journey 4 years ago during COVID and the lockdown. I was working a contractor's job for construction for 23 years, and I was pulled to do some of that deep dive understanding of my mindset, of my limiting beliefs, and I started to do a journey on that. I didn't know that would manifest me into becoming a life coach within 2020s when I started my journey, 2020s when I opened my business part-time. Was working part-time in coaching, full-time in a job. And then I noticed that a lot of people were really struggling when it came to business mindset, running a business, overcoming their limiting beliefs, and it transitioned into becoming a full-time business coach. In the first year, I booked my first 6 figures with the knowledge and the intention and the passion of helping people build a business, feel good about themselves, and I also do some life coaching. So that's kind of where I started, and I just kept on going. But it took me about a year and a half to really get the foundation of my business. But I also realized that I needed some mentorship to do that. So a lot of us who are creating a business are kind of just winging it about, well, what do I need to start a business? And then you're spinning their wheels, you're going on YouTube, you're trying to get on books, but it's really working with a mentor one-on-one that's going to help you organize your thoughts, work on those limiting beliefs, and create a strategy plan that works for you. So what do you want to create? and know your why. Then you want to know, what do I offer? What do you want to offer people? What are you trying to serve? What are you going to give them? That's going to include, what problem do I solve? If you know the problem that you solve, you're going to know what niche market you want to attach to. The other one is, next one is, what results do I want to get my clients or customers? I'm going to put that customers. Okay. So as you know the problem that you solve, what do you want to give the results? What are the results that you want to get your clients? How do you want them to feel when they get your product, when they get your services? There has to be a why. There has to be what you want to create, when you want to offer, the problem you solve, and the results that you're getting them. And then what makes your service or products unique? A lot of us may not think we have something that you are uniquely bringing to the table. So, for example, I'm going to use my business. When I work with business owners, one of the things I work on is your past trauma. And a lot of business owners don't know where their past trauma is. Past trauma could be the belief system, the negativity, the overwhelming, the anxiety. It's going to be your money mindset. My job as a coach is for you to overcome and recognize those limiting beliefs. So when we create a business strategy, you're moving out of your way of those limiting beliefs and then getting to what you want the result to be. Okay. So those are the steps of how do you start to create your niche market and your passion. Okay. A lot of us really look at the logical side of business. When you're creating your niche, you also have to look at the emotional side. You are attracting people that have a problem that needs to be solved. So as you solve that problem, what are the emotions you want your clients to feel? I want them to feel happy. I want them to feel beautiful. I want them to feel that they have a problem solved. Tap into that instead of just looking the logic of, I have this, here's what I offer, here's what I serve, this is what I want people to feel. You have to be tapping in the emotions, and the emotions are tapping in when you also are doing your marketing. Okay. Does anyone have any questions specifically on creating that niche market, how you do it? Okay. Use a chat box if you have any questions on that. Okay. Okay. We're going to keep on going here. Okay, the next, after you have your niche market, after you know what you want to do, what you want to create, what you want to offer, the problem that you want to solve, now you're going to be really good at marketing. You're going to take all the emotional things, all the results, all the problems that you solve, and now you're going to create your marketing, whether it's social media, whether it's on your website, whether it's personal, whether it's door to door, you're going to know exactly what you sell, because now you have that strategy of creating that clarity of what you're here for, what you're selling, and how to execute it. So we're going to put some more tips into your strategy plan. Okay. I want to move this down so you can actually see. Move it down here. Okay. So creating your strategy plan is setting clear goals. There's too many business owners that are not clear about their goals. So setting clear goals. I can type. Ooh, let's move that. Okay. Setting clear goals means I know my why. I know what I want to create. Now, what are the intentional goals of getting started? Okay, so maybe it's creating your services and products. That has to be clear. What do you want to bring to the table? What do you want to sell? What services do you want to sell? You're going to have to work on your pricing and packages. Okay. Now, if you are doing services and you want to make more money doing services, what you can do for services is you can create a longer package. So for example, if you're in the beauty industry or you're in services of coaching and you want to do a high ticket product or service, what you want to do is you want longevity in it. So for example, if you're starting out as a coach, and I'm going to take that for example, and you want to make a $5,000 client, you want a high ticket client for $5,000, you want to create a business plan that gives that client like a 90-day program with you. Creating a program for 90 days will get you a higher ticket client than creating a one-on-one session or a 30-day. Same thing with beauty products or goods. What can you package together that is going to create a higher ticket price item than a lower ticket individual price? So you can have a high ticket price, and then you can have your bundle price, and then you can have a lower ticket price. Okay. So think of different ideas as you really start to create this plan. Open your mindset to not just strategizing of, I need to specifically sell a supplement, or if you're selling supplements or anything like that. What you want to do is, how can I create this and create it in a bundle that is going to make more money? Okay. So longer services, longer packages. The other one is marketing. How are you going to do your marketing and be intentional? Now, when it comes to social media, you want to get on social media is probably about 5 times a week, okay? And what you want to do with your marketing, and I had a lot of people that were supposed to come on here for marketing, so this is really important. When you do your marketing, it has to be niche specific. So when you're also talking about your niche of who do I want to serve, some of you are trying to serve everyone on the planet. We can't do that. Some of us need to niche down. So when you create who I want to serve, some of you might want to serve men, a big majority of men, or a big majority of women. So it would even be like, what percentage, if you were going to serve men, what's the percentage of that versus percentage of serving women? Some of them, like women coaches, women that sell beauty products, are tapping into 90% of them being women versus 10% being male. So when you start doing your marketing, you're going to market to the female market. You're going to market to the male market. You're going to really hone down on who specifically can resonate when they see your marketing. Now, marketing can also be very emotional. You're tapping in. So I'm going to take the beauty services. You're tapping into someone who doesn't feel pretty. So can we tap into, if you can do these services and make yourself feel better, or these services will make you feel more confident, then you're tapping into those emotions of that potential client or customer that is going to come to you and you're going to make them feel good about themselves. And that's what people are looking for. They want to feel more confident. They want to feel more secure. They want to feel good about themselves. We're tapping into their trauma story as well, of giving them an outcome that is different than their everyday. Does that make sense? Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments box, okay? The chat box. So as we're doing social media marketing, what a 5-day marketing would look like is, one, don't try to do your marketing at the wing of it. Do not make your marketing to post for that day. So it's really important to prepare your marketing 1 day a week. Say you have 5 posts, get it done. Okay. Then what you can do for that week. So say you get all your marketing done on a Saturday for the next week. You have your Canva post, you have your video shorts, whatever that is, they're all prepared. Then what happens if you're a really busy person, like a parent, or you have another job, what you're doing is you are just posting your content on your social media. Some of them you can schedule. Like if you have Facebook, you can also schedule for Instagram. If you have TikTok, I believe now you can schedule. If you have LinkedIn, I don't think you can schedule on there, but what you're just doing is copying and pasting on all of those platforms. Now, what I would do if I'm new in business is to really find what platform you want to master first. Don't try to do 5 platforms at the same time. Find out where your niche market is living and master that social media. So Facebook and Instagram are from Facebook. They're same company, but 2 different platforms. Facebook, you can do a lot of just plain videos and also photos and do it in your stories. But Instagram has a different kind of niche where they want to just see pretty, pretty storefront stuff. So you really need to find out, if I'm coaching, maybe Instagram is not my place to be. Maybe it's more like LinkedIn. Maybe it's more like Facebook. So you want to know where your niche market. You can also really you really get into the groups on, say, Facebook or LinkedIn, and also promote your stuff on there and really collaborate with a lot of those groups to get people to be those lead generations for you. Okay. So marketing 5 times a week, you should be learning how to market on those, doing some research on using hashtags. But in your post, when you do marketing posts, I want you to know that you have to have these 3 things in any marketing post. You need to have a problem, you need to have a solution, and a action item or action. So problem is I'm posting about people that are having problems with marketing their business. That is a problem. I'm going to write down some things about that in my description. Then I'm going to say what the solution is. You have to master one social media platform of where your niche market is living. And then the last action is getting on a complimentary call with me. If you're stuck and you don't know where to start, what social media outlet to use, book your call with me, complimentary call. Let's talk about where you need to take your business and what platform you need to use. So I am guiding people to get on those calls with me, but I'm also giving the clarity of just a little bit. You're kind of just like, giving them a little bit information. But if they're really feeling like, yes, I need to talk to Coach Mel, I need to get on that call, that is going to be linking your connection of that Zoom call, whatever it is, for them to get a hold of you. Okay. So that's how marketing works. You will see that when you market things, some people will like it, some people won't. It's really not on the likes, it's really more on the views of how many people are seeing your content. That's why it's good to do reels. And that's why it's good to do a mix of reels and also just picture content. Okay. When you get likes, that is a hot lead. That is someone that you want to go into the DMs and go, hi, how are you? I saw that you liked my post. What interested you about it? Really learning how to create that lead generation with just posting on social media. Or if you have a link and the people start booking the links, you're noticing that those links are working. So how do you heighten that just a little bit more? Okay. And that's the last thing of the setting up a strategy plan. Do I need a mentorship? Okay. So I have spent 25 grand just in mentorship myself. And I can tell you a lot of those mentors were not worth part of that $25,000. Okay. What you really want to do when you're finding a mentor is I have done one-on-one mentorship, and I've also done group mentorship. I'm going to tell you, if you really want to be taken care of, find a good one-on-one mentor. That's why I'm a one-on-one mentorship. I learned a lot of the no's, the don'ts in these business courses that don't work for business owners, because I can relate, because that's how I started my business. When you really want someone to sit with you, understand you, and take care of you, the one-on-one mentorship is going to be a good investment. And I can tell you, one of the business courses I took was $9,700. It was not worth that. I would have spent $9,700 on a one-on-one mentorship if I knew I wasn't going to get what I was promised in that business coaching, because there's too many business owners and there's not enough help. You want to also interview a few mentors to see which one actually aligns with you as well. Okay. Again, any questions? Like reels on Facebook and Instagram? Yes. If you can dabble into really defining your niche and putting that in your reels on Facebook and Instagram, and using the right hashtags and putting the right information, you will notice you will get more people. Now, it's consistency. So consistency is key. So you can't just do 5 promotions or marketing one week and then think you can get away with one the next week. When you start getting the momentum of doing your marketing, you're going to start getting into the algorithm. It's also important when you're on these platforms to collaborate and engage with others people's content. So Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, they don't see you as just posting your stuff to get people to look at it. You're actually engaging with other people that makes you more into the algorithm. And when you like people's stuff, guess what? They're going to check out your stuff. You get into their algorithm too. So I want to say, for example, if you're using Instagram, like 5 posts from your followers. Okay, you start getting into their algorithm and also into their hashtags. So it's the way every algorithm is different and it's always changing. But once you start getting into the algorithm, you're going to know what works and what doesn't work for you. But that mentorship is going to be key. If you're stuck and you have no way of figuring out how you get to the next step, look for a one-on-one mentor, okay? And that's why I offer those calls. You will all be able to book another call with me. That's going to be free, complimentary, and we're going to talk specifically more strategy. You're going to get an email from Calendly after this ends, and you're going to get a link to that if you just want to talk about business, want to talk about your strategy, want to talk about starting a business. Bring all your questions, and we're going to hash it out in one of those sessions. All right, let's go to the mindset, okay? Mindset and belief system. This is very important. This is what a lot of mentors will not teach you. So they'll teach you a little bit of mindset, but the mindset is also about the belief system. So as a life and trauma coach, I'm going to deep dive into your mindset of what are your blockages when it comes to anything in your business. But I can tell you when it comes to money, is going to be what you learned in your childhood, and is also going to be self-worthiness and not feeling good enough. So I'm going to talk about money really quick so we can start on the money. So money is, well, let's talk about where limiting beliefs come from first. Limiting beliefs come from your childhood experiences and habits of others, learning from others from 1 to 10 years old. You take that belief system of whatever you learned in that time frame about love, about success, about money, about confidence, self-worthiness, could be anything about money mindset. You embed that in your body, and then when you go on to your teen years and adult lives, you take that belief system and you try to fit it in every puzzle piece that doesn't fit. So for example, if you're a business owner and you want to make money, stop chasing the money because the money is running from you. Business is not about money. Business is about serving your passion, and the reward is money. There's a lot of business owners that I want to do a side hustle to make more money. I go, well, that's the first thing that won't grow your business. Why do you want to create a side hustle? Why do you want to serve people? What do you want to create? What problem do you want to solve? The passion of, I love it when people come into my inbox and are manifesting great things, right? And manifesting change, attracting change, booking their first high ticket clients is when they let go of the money and really focus on what the purpose is of why we're here. Why are we creating a business? Why do we want to help people? So 0 to 10, when it comes to, let's talk about money, you probably learned money doesn't grow on trees. Money is really hard to get. You have to work really hard for money. And I'm going to tell you my money story is when I left my 23-year job of 6 figures and I wasn't making 6 figures in my coaching business, I had to detach from the belief system that my dad taught me. You have to work really hard. You have to have a 401k. You have to have your benefits. You have to push and just, push yourself to make more money because money doesn't grow on trees. Well, when I decided to leave that for my coaching, because my passion was coaching and helping people make money and get over the limiting beliefs and start manifesting, I told my parents, I told my family that I was doing that. And, all their faces were like, why would you ever do that in your 40s? Why would you ever want to go to another niche when you're making 6 figures and you have this, this comfortable life? And I said, it's not my passion. So I had a lot of fear transitioning into my business full time, but I also knew if I stayed where I was at, I was not serving a purpose that was going to make people be better people in this lifetime. So I really needed to transition and take 2 steps forward and jump into the business. But I can tell you, when I started to trust myself and believe that my passion would equal abundance, that's how I booked my first 6 figures in my first year with that mentality. That mentality also brought me resources. It also brought me collaborations. It brought me my clients. It brought me my leads. But what I didn't do is I said, well, my dad's story is I have to be in corporate to make it. I transitioned out of that with my own belief system. So there will be some storylines that you need to detach from to make your business grow. You can't have the trauma story following you because now you're just chasing money. You have to believe that I am worthy of this business. I am worthy of clients. I am worthy of customers. And as I'm worthy of customers and clients, guess what? Here comes the money. The money is the end result. The money is a reward. So as I am just saying, I'm really tapping into really loving to heal clients, to make them have clarity in their business, to overcome their limiting beliefs, to have inner peace of creating a business. Guess what? Here comes the money. And I don't pay attention to the money. I pay attention to how many people I'm helping and how excited I get of doing that. So when it comes to money mindset, we have to stop chasing the money and tap into your passion of how you serve. Okay, that's so super important because that's how my clients. So for example, I had someone who had her business and she wanted to book 4 clients in 6 weeks. And they were $9,000 a piece. And I just literally started my coaching business and I was working on mindset with her. And she's been in business for over 10 plus years. And I said, well, let's find what the block is. It wasn't about money that was the block. It was that there was something in her childhood that didn't make her feel worthy of it. And then we had to open and expand her mindset. Are you okay taking on a client that can't pay you the $9,000 right away? And she said to me, she goes, no, these people need to pay me 9,000. But I said, what if one of those clients can't pay you, but that's one of your 4 clients? She was really open to the idea of, okay, I'll just open myself to that. I'll open myself to that reality. And an hour after our first session, she got a call from a lady, and the lady said, I can't pay you the $9,000, but I need to hire you. And she wound up signing that client that wound up being a $10,000 client. And in the 6 weeks, she signed 3 more clients. So she made $37,000 just working on her belief system of aligning with that money, but aligning with opening her mindset to receiving the client in different ways, but also overcoming that childhood trauma as well. So your childhood trauma is the only thing that's stopping you from manifesting what you want today. So if you want to sell your business, what are the blockages of selling that business? What are the worries about that? If you have beauty service, what are the worries about helping people with their beauty? If it's services, what is the worry about people not coming to you? Whatever that negative trauma is something that you need to detach from. And that's why my coaching is a little bit more unique than others. We're going to take a deep dive and find the root of the problem. We're going to release you from that problem, and then we're going to get you going of manifesting your business. And I believe in law of attraction. So law of attraction is, some people think it's woo-woo, but I can tell you it's happening 24/7. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doing, whatever you want, whatever you don't want, whatever you're giving positive and negative energy to, it is intentional and it will manifest. I'm not making any money. I'm not getting any clients. That is an intention. That's a negative belief. Why do you have that belief? So what you're attracting is more challenges in your business. If you have the mindset of, I'm being intentional, I love what I do, and I'm just open to receiving people coming to me, resources, clients, the abundance, then what happens? There's a let go of that. You're not chasing anything. And now you're just concentrating on the core of your business. And now you're getting the momentum, especially when you're marketing too, and you're in that passionate energy. They're going to feel it. They feel it on your posts. They feel it in your intentions, and they're going to be really curious and they'll come to you. And I can tell you, all of my business clients manifest, whether it's their first high ticket client, getting their first client, whatever it is. I had one client who started making $50,000 to $100,000 in 1 month because her trauma story with money was, my parents worked too much. I was raising myself. Money is always scarce. I was taught that. So there's 2 trauma stories that we had to maneuver for the ick factor of money. A lot of my clients have parents that weren't there. And it had to do with money because they were too busy working. So now when they make money, they're going, that just gives me the ick factor. But sometimes you don't know what that ick factor is. And that's what I do as a coach, of really deep diving of, what are the storylines behind that? how can we release you from that? And then start you moving forward where you can be in peace of, here is my strategy. I feel good about it. I'm going to stop chasing the money. I'm going to start focusing on the clients. I'm going to start focusing on my business, my customers, and I'm going to open myself to receiving and aligning with those clients. And it works every time. That's how I book my clients too. I go, surprise me. I'm out there. I'm intentional. I do my marketing. I have my belief system in place. And then all of a sudden, one of my biggest months last year was $23,000 a month because I was just open to that, to receiving. And you never know, because especially if you're doing services every month, it's not going to be a streamline of income. It's going to be more like this. So how can you really level yourself of feeling good, even if it's like this? So say you have a low month and then you have extremely large month. It's really fine tuning and balancing and being prepared for whatever is coming your way. But law of attraction, you're manifesting 24/7. So if you give your belief system to something positive and you give your belief system to something negative, they're the same amount of energy, but they are separate results. So how can you fine tune your reframing your mindset to be staying on track to get and achieve your results sooner than later? So that's really what I love to do, is when you can understand what's really triggering you and you can reframe your mindset, you're going to get a different result. Any questions on that? Okay, we're moving along here. Let's talk about the last thing, which is really important, is we're going to talk about time management. And I teach this to a lot of my, so you could have a business, you could have a family, you could have 10 things going on at the same time, but I'm going to break it down for you of how you can achieve everything without feeling overwhelmed. So again, time management is overthinking and doing nothing. So when I ask my clients, how much do you think, overthink, be overwhelmed with thinking, stressed out, have anxiety versus actually getting the task done? I can tell you a lot of them are just overthinking. So when people say they don't have a lot of time, I go, well, you're just thinking too much. You have to start organizing your priorities and you have to start doing some action items. So what I do is I actually have them get a piece of paper and I have them create 3 columns. The first one is going to be your hot items. The second one is going to be your important items. And the last one is going to be your to-do list, okay? So this is a list that you can have in your day timer. This is something you can have in Excel. This is someone you can have on a notebook, whatever it is. This is how you're going to break down your week. This is in 7 days. The hot items are the things that you need to get only done today. Now, as we are thinking about so many things, we tend to overthink and think that everything has to be done today, and that is not correct, okay? I'm sure there's some things that you can put aside for the next day, the next 2 days, and this is how you're going to break it down. So this is the hot items is everything that needs to be done today. Let me move that so you can see it, okay? So that is going to include, I need to go to work, I need to run my business. So what are the tasks in your business? I need to, get prepped for the day. What does that include? I need to get my employees in gear if that's something that you need to do. Say it's you need to do your marketing, you get that done. Maybe, and I want you to include yourself, I need to take a lunch for those who are working on their business and they don't step away from their desk. You're not going to help yourself out. You need to take yourself away from your desk, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes of eating, of moving away from your desk. You need to detach from your business so you can get the thought process of your mindset in a calm state and then keep going. And you'll notice when you take that break, there'll be things that you might even, ideas that may not even come to you because you're just stressing at your desk. Step away. You can do some breathing. Breathing is really good of releasing tension and then just make your mind wander, but really taking that self-care. So include yourself. Maybe you have to go to the gym, maybe you have to pick up the kids, whatever that is your hot item. That doesn't include anything that needs to be done not today, okay? The next one is important items. Now, the important items are things that can be done in the next, I want to say the next 2 to 5 days, okay? So 2 to 5 days, what do I need to do? Oh, I have this meeting with somebody. Well, that's not a hot item. You don't need to focus on that. That is something that's going to happen in the next couple of days. Maybe you're thinking of a new idea and you're meeting with your team. That's something that's going to be also done in the next few days. You're not focusing that on today. So important items. Maybe you need to, call the doctor to make a doctor's appointment. It's not a hot item today, but you know you need to do that in the next 2 to 5 days. Okay. The to-do list is the things that you can do in the next 7 days. Okay. So it doesn't need to be done in 2 to 5 days. Maybe it needs to be done at the end of the week. What are the things we need to do at the end of the week? Well, maybe I need to take my wife out for a date, or I'm going to have happy hour. Maybe I know I need to start thinking about what my marketing is for the next week. It's not a high item, it's not important, but that's something I can do over the weekend. If you start to break down your days, your weeks, as that hot items, important items to-do list, you'll notice that you'll start shifting things. The importance will be the hot, the to-do list will be the important items. But I can tell you this saves a lot of time for business owners because everything is written down. When you start to write everything down, you're not thinking about like, oh, what did I have to do the other day? Now I forgot. And now you're spinning your wheels of going over and over and over again of what was I thinking about? Write everything down. It's really important to have a notepad or something or a sticky note of like, what am I thinking right now? Oh, I have to do that. Write it down. But as you use this time management, you get a lot more time for yourself, especially if you're in a business and you're working a full-time job. When you start organizing, what do I need to do for me, for my job, for my business, and you have that all laid out of achievable goals for the day, you're going to start ticking them off. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel more confident about your business because you're getting things done. But we need to stop the overthinking because we're overthinking about money. We're overthinking about how do I get clients? We're overthinking about how do I do my marketing? If you start to get clarity in all of these areas, guess what? We are going to create a foundation, a strategy that works, and it can be consistent, and you can start attracting the customers and clients that you want. You can start bringing in that abundance that you want, but you're going to feel peaceful about your business. And having inner peace and feeling good about your business will attract the momentum of your business being successful. Okay. So those are the 4 steps that I have for you today of really starting a successful business, of getting out of your head, getting a game plan in, how you need to align with the right mindset, how you need to have that time management in. So I'm going to leave it as that is like what I have for presenting, but now I really want to open it up for any questions that anyone might have. So if you have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat box. If not, we'll go ahead and close out this session, but I want to make sure I answer any questions that you need. So with the people that are here, any questions about business? Marco, you can also ask me some tips about, if you want to sell your company, we can do that. So let me know any questions that you have. This is a great time to bring those questions and get some clarity.
And maybe nice to find some merger and acquisition. Local people, I have really trouble to selling to the US because they don't trust European business. We are here in the European Union. I'm from Germany, from Stuttgart, and we do this in Bulgaria. It's also European Union. And yeah, it's hard to find, maybe it's also belief system.
Yeah, yeah.
Find the right people, but I'm quite confident to
Yeah.
find.
So in that statement that you made, you have to realize that you are very intentional. Like it's really hard to align with the right people. So you're going to have to change that mindset. So, but you have to come up with a game plan that is that you can believe in. So if you were saying like, here is the way I want to, so you write down. So when I say you writing down goals, it's almost like a script. What script or storyline do you want to attach to that you can start believing in? And this is going to be part of your belief system too. Okay. So belief system is, what do I want? How do I want this to work? And you write it all down. What resources do I want to connect to? What kind of people do you want to work with when you're doing this acquisition? You have to have clarity. So when it comes to attracting what you want, you can call it manifestation, you can call it law of attraction. It's really writing the details. And so when I write the details with everybody about what you want to achieve, you're going to attach that storyline quicker than you were of, well, I just need to do it. And overall, I need to do this acquisition, but it's really hard to if I was to do this acquisition the ways, work with this acquisition and people this way, what would that storyline look like? Does that make sense? Marco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah. So
know.
you have to say, so for example, if you have a difficulty, you think there's a boundary with, people not trusting you, you have to write down, I am only attracting people that are trustworthy, that trust and believe in this, what I'm, trying to align with. Because there are people, you can't just say it's hard with everybody, because then you're just making a statement that is going to be challenging for you. If you change that and tweak that, belief system just a little bit, then you will find that there's going to be more opportunities coming away. And that's a good one for to book that call when you get that the thank you email from Calendly. Book your call with me and let's talk about it. Like, what would that script look like for you to have that? But I want to also see what your belief system is. Okay.
I think it's 16 years that I'm trying to step there on the markets. I have sold only two kits, and
Yeah.
I see all the responses I got from my prospects
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
people there is that we don't have a branch there. We are not represented in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
US, and that's why they don't trust, and they prefer to buy something there on place.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So I think this could be a really successful business, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the European market is broke already for many years, and
Yeah.
I think the US is where, for example, in 2023 they sold
Mm-hmm.
about 30,000 kits. That's a multi-billion
Mm-hmm.
dollar
Mm-hmm.
business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uplands, yeah, it has to be about networking, finding the right people,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
the right people to the right
And
mergers. So it's very
absolutely. And that needs to be part of your storyline, that you're connecting to the right people, because your mindset is like, I'm not connecting to anybody right now. So that's why 16 years, I work with a lot of business owners that have been in business brand new and also 25 plus years. And it's really opening your mindset and allowing yourself to be open to opportunities you're not seeing. So again, there's a logical side of things and there's also an emotional side of things, right? So the emotion is, that this can help a lot of people. Tap into that, but that's who you want to connect with, the people that can relate to that, who can relate to the same problem, to relate to the same solution for people. And again, you might have some opportunities in Europe, but your mindset is also that it's not working there. So now it's not working there and you're not getting any traction in the US because your belief system is there's just all these blockages. So now you have to remove the blockages and you have to be open to maybe something that you're not seeing. And when I do work with seasoned business owners, they have something that is the way they do things. And then I come in, I go, well, let's open our business or our mindset to something that's different. And then you'll notice as you expand that and you're open to something a little bit bigger than what you're thinking, that's where the momentum starts to come in. Okay. So we have to remove whatever blockages are blocking you, and we have to remove the belief system that no one is available to make this work with me, because that's not true. There is a billion people in the world. We only need the people that align with you. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Priscilla, do you have any questions? I know you're working too.
No, this was really great. I mean, obviously because I'm working with you, so I have um, already absorbed so much from you, but this was awesome. I took a lot of notes and I'm sure we can go over that during our call. But it was
Absolutely. Book that
awesome.
call with me, or even that extra call with me, and we'll just talk about business. Do a separate call with me. All right. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today. And again, I'm going to post this so people can see it probably on social media. I'll also get a copy of that. Again, if you need help, what's that? Oh, sorry. If you need help, don't be afraid of reaching out. Okay. I don't try to sell anybody. What I'm trying to do is give you the momentum of seeing things that you're not seeing. And then if we align and you're like, I want to take the next steps of getting my business started, that's when we can talk about getting into one of my programs. But again, thank you for coming. I hope this gave you clarity. And I look forward to getting and strategizing with you more on those free sessions. Thanks again, everyone.
Bye, man. Thank you.
Bye.